everyone to Bobbin Often with Lofton. Today we're going to be looking at Mari's skill tree. What's the best skill tree for dungeons and what's the best skill tree for PvP? Yes, I'm going to go back and do Segar and I'm going to do Jin. I got some catching up to do. I'm sorry. And of course, if you want to be updated on the guides that I do for these characters, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you can be notified when I do the next guide. Also, if you would like to help support the creation of this content and of course get early access to my content, make sure you scroll down to that Patreon link below. Go ahead and check it out, see if it's right for you. And if you want to support the channel, that's your best bet. So for dungeons, if you're a damage nut, you probably shouldn't upgrade it. You get more damage out and you can restart the combo faster than you would if you hit the 4 hits. If you upgraded it, it's for 4 hits. The previous one is 3. Feel like, hey, I just want to kind of have fun and enjoy myself. And it looks cool. Upgrade it. You're not losing out on too much, but I know there's a lot of damage nuts out there, and I suggest just keeping the regular combo attack. All right, second thing. Now, this is going to be your critical hit. You don't really need to upgrade it if you're going for dungeons. It's not necessary. The jump attack, once again, you don't really need it for dungeons. It's not necessary. It's cool, but it's not necessary. C up, I definitely think you should take. The next one here, the super rocket jump with the rockets coming out, I wouldn't take it. You don't need to send the missiles down. As far as protection, you don't really need it. If you want it, you can have it, but you don't really need it. Turrets, I would just take them just because turrets are awesome. And then the arcane mode special, definitely take it. It's necessary. I mean, it's cool. Why wouldn't you take it? Am I right? So the special ability is kind of bad for her first skill. If you're going to dungeon, I just recommend breakdown. It's way better. You're not sending things flying across the screen and your ability doesn't really suck. You could go with laser beam, but I just think it's pretty bad. And like I said, I think Buster is just bad in dungeons anyway. You're not trying to fly them across the screen. So as far as the second ability goes, you have shock field, homing missile, and then you have core break. This one's kind of up to you. Core break is really cool looking. Once again, if you want to look cool, I think electric field may do more damage, but core break looks awesome. So if you guys want electric field, it's pretty good, but you have to really position yourself because she throws it, whereas core break is surrounding you. So it's really kind of up to what you want in terms of that for dungeons. And then the last thing here is going to be your final. Once again, they kind of all do the same thing. There's not really much difference. Eraser's really good, but if they have super armor or like their bosses that are pretty stagnant, you're not going to be able to get the full charge of that third bar. As far as Destroyer, I think it's pretty cool. It's one of the coolest looking ones, but it doesn't really do as much damage. And then a nuclear launcher is really good if they're huddled up. So if you're more for room clearing, then by all means, Eraser I think is the best one. If you're more for the all amount sheer damage in the same spot, nuclear launchers the way to go. And then as far as the shared skill tree, I mean, it's free, so take it up. Okay, so there's kind of a lot to uncover with Mari with her regular abilities, so let's just kind of start from the basic. As I said, we have the auto attack. It is 4 hits, but if you're a damage nut, just don't even upgrade it. She'll hit 3 times, but you can at least reactivate the attacks faster. So it really, if you're a damage nut, if you're just trying to have fun, I would just stick with this because it's cool. The other thing we will have is our C button. So we'll start with C. So if you press C, you'll do that. And now I'm in like another mode, right? My attacks are different. My jump attacks are different. My dash attacks are different. Like everything's pretty much different. You can still use your abilities properly and everything, but you're just in another mode basically. Then we have our 2 cannons. So we have the first cannon, which shoots and it spreads out and shoots multiple. If you don't level this to level 2, the level 1 version actually creates fire on the ground. The only reason I don't like that is because I feel like it's inconsistent. It's very easy to move out of the way. It's very easy for it to mess up. It's just, I think it's inconsistent. If you can aim it correctly, you know, good job, and it will do some decent damage, but I just think it's inconsistent personally, but it is totally up to you in terms of what you would like to take. Then you have the second one, which is, oops, my bad, wrong way. You have the second one, which is just a shot fired forward, and once again, it's just kind of a turret. It costs a little bit of mana, so it's not really, you can spam it as much as you want as long as the cooldown is off cooldown. Now let's talk about her X. So her X is a little bit different. So she can do a lot of cool things with her X. So the first thing that she can do is she can put up a mana shield. When she presses X, you see her hand, she does that little thing, right? That allows you to input a command of up, down, or left or right. So if we go up, it's a mana shield. The next thing that we have is X down. which locks on kind of a little bolt, and it smacks. I'm actually probably in the way. Let me try it when she's a little bit closer. See? Little smack. Little like, get out of my face, what you doing? Then we have the X stance forward. She has to be facing forward. If she's not facing forward and she's facing the other way, the keys are kind of reversed. So let me give you an example. So this is forward, right? If I'm facing this way, left is forward. So the keys are kind of reversed in that aspect. Now when we want to do backward, this is what happens. She shoots herself backwards and she pushes you forward. So now let's talk about her skills. So her first skill, as you see, it doesn't knock them across the screen, right? It still does damage, but it keeps them there. It doesn't make them go flying, which is what you want in a dungeon environment. Her second skill, as you see, is around her. It's not in a distance. So as I said, when you're using shot field versus this one, you want to make sure that you are at your distance because she throws it and you don't want to miss. Once again, I think that this one is a little bit more consistent, but if you're very good at aiming, the shot field's really good too. And then the last one that we have is a nuclear missile that you can just guide. As long as you use your arrow keys, it will move left and right. There's a little blue dot that does it and a big explosion happens. One thing about it is you have to be very, very careful. If you go too high and you're above platforms, it actually won't drop through the platform and it'll stay up there, as you see. It literally goes wherever that blue cursor is. So when you are doing it, make sure that cursor is where you want it. Otherwise, it's gonna miss. So you have to make sure it's on there, okay? Pretty big explosion and it looks really, really good. Kudos to KOG for those graphics. All right, so for the PvP, combo attack, I don't think you should level it. It's very easy to counter out of your combo. And you're doing less damage, whereas you're getting for sure damage and it's a much shorter combo, so people might not want to counter out of it because it's a waste of mana. The critical level 2, definitely necessary. Take that. It's very, very good. I wouldn't suggest taking anything else. Jump attack, I definitely suggest taking that. The C up, I definitely recommend you taking that. The rocket, you don't really need. The protection is really up to you. If you want to have more crowd control on the field, if you're doing some 2v2s, 3v3s, I definitely recommend taking it. If you're more of a 1v1 person, I wouldn't take it at all. As far as the cannons go, same thing. If you're looking for that crowd control, if you're looking for that like ability to really zone the target, take them. In a 1v1 situation, it's a little bit harder to do because they can destroy the cannons, but once again, in a hectic 2v2, 3v3, it's very, very useful. So it's really up to what you want to do in terms of your gameplay style. X, I think it's definitely necessary to take. Move on to the next one. So if you're gonna take Buster, Buster sets up for a really, really nice grab if you can get it. It's a mechanical thing. You have to time it, and you can get a really, really nice grab off of it. She was always able to do it, and Mari mains know that that's her signature. She'll Buster. She can even do it like 3 times. Buster, 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 and then get a grab after. You can't really set that up with Breakdown because Breakdown is very, very awkward of its ability, and it kind of hovers them. Buster stagnates them, and you can just snatch them out the air. So if you're more of a technical player, Buster is what you want to do. You don't want to do Buster level 2. It will send them flying no matter what. So Buster level 1 if you're technical. If you're not technical and you're like, I'm just trying to have fun, I'm trying to have a good time, I'm not that great at it, definitely just go with Breakdown. Very easy to use and just always useful, so I'll take that. Okay, so the second skill, homing missile, I think it's just too good to be true. I mean, you just summon that thing and it starts shooting. I mean, in PvP, it's super, super annoying to deal with. I recommend taking that. And then the last thing here, that's really up to you. Honestly, I think just Eraser level 2 is very, very easy to use. But the problem is it's very easy to counter out of. So, like, it's really hard. I don't recommend nuclear launcher. Very easy to escape from. It takes too long to come down and you can dodge it. So if you're gonna go with one of the two, I say Eraser or Destroyer. So let's talk about the jump attack. The reason why I take the upgraded jump attack is strictly because the first one knocks them down. If you hit it, it'll hit 2 times and that second hit will knock them down every single time. But this one doesn't do that. As you see, the first hit doesn't knock them down. But you're like, the second hit knocks them down and you're doing less damage. Why does it matter? Like, what's the difference? Let me show you. You can manage to pop them in a platform like this. You can juggle. See? So it's very hard to do, but if you can manage to really pull it down pat, you can hold them. It's very easy to do it from this angle, which is, I should have started from this angle because it is way easier to do, as you see. But like, if you can get them in a corner, ooh, honey child, sugar lamb. So I suggest learning this if you're gonna use your first job. It's very useful, and it's very good if you can manage to pull it off. You're also able to launch them in the air and then set up for like a dash attack. So we launch them in the air and then we set for a dash attack and she gets knocked up. One thing that I noticed is I think they took away the ability to juggle with her first job. Unless the person's like super hardcore delayed, you're not getting, you know, 2 juggles off. As far as the Buster level 1, this is what I'm talking about. You can just go for the grab right after and you should be good. There's no delay in the practice mode, so you can't really get that snatch out the air, but you can still do it in the actual game, as long as you time it right. As far as the homing missile, as you see, it just broke. like why not take that? It gives them something else to worry about. And then you have your third ability here, which is that. I really like it. I think it's pretty cool, and it sets up for more things that you can play with. And that's what Grand Chase is all about this time around. It's just about the setup, really. I mean, honestly, old Grand Chase was kind of about setup too, where you would set someone up and then you could just do whatever you want with them and have your way unless they counter out. That's pretty much what they're doing with this one, it looks like, but they're making it a lot easier for newer players to get that set up, and they're making it a lot more fair to deal with. So, kind of like in the direction that they're going into. So thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. As I said, I'll be doing catch up with the other guides pretty soon. If you guys want to help support that and support the channel and keep it going, Patreon's your best bet. Scroll down. Thank you to all the Patreons that are still my Patreons. I do appreciate it. You guys are the reason why I can keep making this content. So thank you guys. Until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you for what? Popping often, but often.